Hello, this is Ms. DB, and in this video we'll review how to do some of the problems from the Chapter 1, Section 7 assignment on transformations. This is the last section in this chapter. So transformations is when you move an object in a certain specified way. So you can move a figure like a rectangle by reflecting it over a line. That's called a reflection. You may have called that a flip before, like in elementary school, but we call it a reflection. And every point in the reflection will end up being the same distance away from this line of reflection as the original. It'll just be in the opposite side. So you can reflect over a vertical line, a horizontal line, or you can reflect over any line. We also have something called a rotation. That is when you turn an object in so many degrees about a point. We usually start this by looking at a rotation about the origin, 0, 0, because it makes it a lot easier then to find what the new coordinates would be. And then we also talk about translations, which is just moving an object from one place to another. Like if you just push it to the right and up, then that's called a translation. In all of these, the size and shape of the figure does not change. It just might be, it's just moved in some way. The original figures are called the pre-images. So ABCD, rectangle ABCD is the pre-image. After the transformation, it's called the image. And we use an apostrophe after the letter and call it prime to show that that point has been transformed. So here we have A. Over here, this point after the reflection is A prime. It's just the same letter with an apostrophe after it. So you can always tell which one's the pre-image, the original, and the image, which is after the transformation. These are all called isometries. They do not change the size or the way the figure looks. And then number 1, 2, and 3, you just have to say how something was transformed. So here's A up here, B's down here. You have to say whether that was a reflection, a rotation, or a translation. Same thing with C and D over here. How did C get to D? And then in this last one, F to G. Sometimes more than one transformation happens, and then it's called a composition of transformations. We're going to do more with transformations later in the year, and you'll also continue to use them in with Algebra 2. You'll do transformations of functions, like you'll take a line and you'll transform it, or a quadratic equation like a parabola and you'll transform it. All right, so here, this I already talked about. This is a pre-image and an image, and how we say, how we show there's been a transformation with the prime, with the apostrophes. So in these problems here, all you have to do is say whether it's a reflection, a rotation, or a translation, and then you're going to use the right notation to show what's happened. So in problem 4, you'll answer whether this is a reflection, a translation, or a rotation. And then we started with this one, this bottom one, because that one is the pre-image. It doesn't have apostrophes. So we went from FGH to what? So here you would write F prime with the apostrophe after it, G prime, H prime. So that's just practicing writing those the correct way. And then same thing for this one. This one, I forgot to change these letters, so I'll try to do that before you get this worksheet. But this one, we went from X or WXY to, and then you have to say how it changed to the next one. So that would be W prime. You always put the letters in the same order. So these are pretty simple. You just have to make sure you are not using the wrong letters like I did. So this would be rectangle A, B, C, D, and then you'll write the prime notation to show that there's been a transformation. In these problems, we have some rules. So here's the rule for a rotation. It says that triangle QRS is rotated after a transformation, the image is now this new transformation. The transformation is a rotation. So that's just an example that it's changed, and now you can say what the new points are. Here's the rule for a translation. If you are going to move your point to the right 4, you would add 4, and you're going down 1, you would subtract 1. From each x coordinate, you do that, and for each y coordinate. Let's look at this one. Triangle HJK has vertices, and then they give us the points. After a transformation, the image of the figure has different vertices. So your job is to draw or describe each figure and its image, and then identify the transformation. I'm going to make this bigger. So if you are able to put your figures on the graphs that are provided, you can also draw these on your own paper or just on a coordinate, on graph paper, and then take a picture and attach it. Or if you really can't figure out how to do any of those, you could just describe what the transformation is, how it changed. Was it a translation, a reflection, or what? I'm going to show you how to do the tools in Word. So I need to show you I need to make this smaller so you can see the tools in Word that would allow you to be able to draw this. Okay, so the top of my Word looks like this. This is the program. I'm going to make it just a little smaller so you can see more stuff. Okay, so we wanted to get to number 8. And I did make this graph a little bigger. All right, number 8 says triangle HJK has vertices at -3, -1. That's H. So you can go to Insert, and then you can go to Shapes, and you can get a line segment down here. So I'm going to get a line segment, and I'm going to start my line at -3, 1, 2, 3, -1, which is right here, and I'm going to draw it to J, which is at -3, 4. So that's just straight up to 4. So that line is right there. It's a little small, thin for me, so I'm going to make it a little bit darker by changing the weight to 1. And I'm going to change its color, I think, because I'm still having a hard time seeing that. I'll make it red. Okay, that's much easier for me to see. So it started at -3, 1, and it went up to -3, 4. Okay, now I'm going to get my next side of my triangle, go back to Shapes. It should put your recently used ones up there. And I'm going to go from -3, 4 up here to 0, 0. So I start here, and I'm going to go down to 0, 0. I'm going to change that to red again. And then it has to go from 0, 0 back to 4. So and I wanted it red. Okay, so that's my pre-image. That's HJK. Now you could label that, but that'd take even longer. And then I have to do some transformation. It doesn't tell me what kind. That's what I have to figure out. But my new coordinates, and this time I will use a different color, are going to be from 1, -3, 1, -3. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to start here. And I have to go up to 1, 2, which is here. Maybe I'll leave this one blue. And then from there, I have to go to, from 1, 2, I have to go to 4, -2. So 4, and then down 2. And then, of course, I have to go back to my original point, which is over here. So you can see that the red triangle was moved to where the blue triangle is. They both are the same size and shape. I think I drew them correctly. And now I can see that this is a translation. And now you have to say, how did it go right? How did it go left? Did it go up? Did it go down? So remember that the red one was my original. So you can write it as a rule, every x coordinate moved to the right, so that's a plus, and it moved over, let's see, from -3 all the way over to 1. So that I added 4 to. And every y coordinate moved down, so that's going to be a subtraction. Every y coordinate went from, let's see, my first h went from -1 to -3. So that only moved down 2. So it's y minus 2. So this is my rule. You can also write that in words. You can say it was translated right 4 units and down 2 units. So either way is a valid way to write a reflection, or I mean a translation. And I see that when I did that, it moved my bottom line, so I just deleted that extra line. So the same thing for 9, and so on. Now again, if it's too time consuming to draw the shapes, just sketch them on a piece of paper and then tell me what the translation or reflection was. I don't think any of these are rotations. For number 10, 11, and 12, they give us the rule. All you have to do is say what the new coordinates will be. So first for number 10, we have a pre-image XYZ, it's a triangle, and then they tell us what the coordinates are. So you're going to write x prime coordinate, because x is at -6, 1, x prime will be after this rule. These are translations. So I have to add 2 to the x coordinate, so that'd be -4, -6 plus 2. And then I have to add 5 to the y coordinate, so 1 plus 5 is 6. And then you have to also do y prime and z prime the same way. Add 2 to the x coordinates, add 5 to the y coordinates. And then number 11 and 12 are the same thing, but with different rules. They're all triangles, so they'll each have 3 coordinates to find the b prime, c prime, d prime, and so on. In number 13, it says to find the coordinates of this image, A, B, C, D, after it's moved 6 units left, so this way, and 2 units up. You do not have to redraw it. You can just tell me what the coordinates will be. It might help you to write down what the coordinates now are, and then you can just apply the rule, or maybe you want to sketch it and find the coordinates that way. And then number 14 says the original image is moved so that its new coordinates are so on, and then tell how did it get there? Was it a reflection, a rotation, a translation? And then number 15 again has to do with the same picture above, but only coordinate b. So they have the original b is right here, and then this happened to it, and then you have to say what was the translation. Did it go up, down, left, right? Did it, it is a translation, it says, so you have to say how many units did it go up, down, left, or right, or you can write the rule. And that's it. So let me know if you have any questions on this assignment. Feel free to do the graphs on your own paper. If you can, attach a digital picture. If you can't, you can just describe what you ended up with and name what the coordinates of the new vertices would be. Thanks a lot and have a wonderful day.